Hey everyone, this is Bev from Art by Bedell. Today I'm going to be showing you the results of the printing that I did with coffee, staining my papers and using stencils and foliage without doing the echo method of boiling it. I wanted to see if the foliage would do as well as the stencils did. So we're going to start with this piece of paper is what is on my work surface. What it is a big roll of butcher paper, and I just pull off what I need to keep my desk clean. And in doing that, I end up with these papers that have, like, this is a distressed vintage photo ink here, from ink and edges and just all kinds of messy stuff. So I want you to keep that in mind. When I get to this part, I'll remind you about this paper. And how this got incorporated into our project today. So I'm going to set that aside so we have a clean surface to view. And these are some of my coffee papers. And all I did was make my coffee. I do believe it was 3 tablespoons to maybe a quart of water or something like that. And I heated it up and then I let it cool down, and then I just dipped my papers through, and then I laid them on some of this butcher paper to dry. And so I got some pretty nice prints from that. And look at the difference even in the colors of them. They change. So I let them dry. I did this work yesterday, and then I let them dry and I ironed them. Now you're going to see some yellow on this. This is because this piece of paper was laid on top of that paper that I showed you at the beginning that was my cleanup paper on my desk. And the vintage ink was reactivated because of the liquid in the coffee, and it made this real pretty stained paper. I love it. This is some more of that. It didn't get as much as the yellow. There's a little here and here, but I really love what this is here. And then all these different results you can get just by accident, and that purely was just I had that paper, laid it out on my floor, and put these on it to dry. When I did it, I thought to myself, I bet I get some color from that. And I did. So how pretty, right? Now, the next, after I did a bunch of these plain coffee papers, then I decided I was going to do some more stencil papers, which I had done before, and they turned out just beautiful. You probably have seen them in my videos if you've been watching. So I've just took all of my stencils, every one of them, and I run my paper through the coffee, laid my paper on a piece of this butchered paper on the floor. Everything is all over the floor at this point. And then I laid my stencil on top, and then I left that to dry. This piece, I added a little bit of distressed ink spray. It's a yellow and a green color. I just wanted to test that and see what I thought of that. I didn't do the whole group of papers. I just did a couple. Here's another one that I did. Now, these 2 stencils were big enough to cover the whole piece of paper. I like that best. You can, and I'll show you, you can use separate little ones too, but I like the big ones. Here are 2 littler ones, and this is just a piece of, oh, what is it called? It's that metal type ribbon with all the little holes in it. Anyhow. And this paper got some wrinkles in it, and that's okay with me too. Here's one. I really like this right here. That stencil. I love the way that printed out. Look at the detail on it. It just turned out perfectly. Check on this and make sure that you're catching that. Yes, I do believe so. And then here's one that was one stencil, but it didn't cover the whole page, but it covered most of the page. Again, it's just beautiful the way that turns out. This one picked up some more of that yellow spray from one of the other stencils. And this was my favorite when I did it last time, was these 2 stencils here. I didn't do them on a page like this is, but I did them separately. And when you fold them and you put them into a journal and you get that for a page, I mean, how cool is that? That's really nice. That and the butterfly. So just check out, like any stencils. That was a stencil that covered the whole page. And see which ones you like best. I love this one. That was 2 stencils there. and this was 3. But you see what I mean? The stencils really, really do work really nice to get some, look at perfectly clear from the stencil with the reading. You could actually read it. This paper, I'm not sure where it was in the process. It doesn't have stencils, it doesn't have foliage, and it's darker, much darker than the tea dyed ones, but it's pretty. Or than the coffee stained ones, just the stained ones. Now we're getting into the foliage. All right, so this is a clover leaf here. These are some of my petals from my peonies. My peony had falling apart and I picked up the petals off the ground. And then the ridges you can see are grasses. So it all works. This is just another kind of leaf. But I'm going to show you as we go along what works best. Okay, so here is a oh great, this is not the time to not remember the name of the plant. Anyhow, here's some flowers, and here's the, like, it's not a fern, it's a stilby. It's a stilby. I love how the stilby turned out. Here we go. So the flowers that I thought worked the best were some azalea flowers. Now, again, these had fallen on the ground, and so I picked them up and brought them in. And these are some astilbe leaves back here. I really like this page. Here is a bigger astilbe branch here, and then some of the azaleas here and here. Now you can really see the astilbe on this one and on this one. Then I went out and I got some daisies, just some wild daisies, a clover leaf and some daisies. The only problem with the daisies is, of course, the middle of the flower is much thicker, and so in some places it tore. This one isn't actually torn, but in some of the papers it did tear. This is just foliage. These are grasses, just grasses. You can see the top of it. It actually looks like it's an embossed piece of paper. These are more grasses. So probably a person that didn't know what was on here probably was like, oh, what the heck is that? It looks like wrinkled paper, you know. But it is grasses. I like the texture on it. I'm anxious to work with these that are from the grasses and see if I can make something more out of them than what we're actually seeing here. But if not, the texture is great. We wrinkle paper to get texture like that. This is more of my peony leaves here and another clover leaf here. This is when I took some, and you can see the grass. You can actually see it here. I can see it. Let me raise it up and see if you can see it. So, you see that? I think you can. Those are grasses, and I just laid them across the paper like that. Now, I think in one of the pictures that I posted yesterday, it was of the grasses on one side and then the other side, and this is that paper. So you can see. I think you take a little rubbing wax, a little gold rubbing wax across there would be really pretty. This is so pretty. This is more the azalea and then some grass. I like this one because it has a rich dark brown color in it from the coffee. You really can't tell anything but your few azalea flowers, but it's just real pretty. Okay, my favorite one of all is when I have an astilbe branch on the side here and on the side here, and then my azalea flowers. When this is folded up to be a page in a journal, just look how pretty that page is going to be. I love this. It's my favorite. Oh, and I was able to save, after everything that I had done here, I had to throw all the foliage away except for the astilbe branches. They're still good to use again. Here's a big astilbe branch here with just some grasses on the side. So that astilbe will make a pretty page in a book. Some more of the grasses, that one group here and a group here. This is some of the grasses that I just laid across the page, and again, you can see the heads. Oh, on this side, you can see the emboss better than on the other side. But look at the embossing on that. And some daisies. A whole page full of daisies. I like the daisies. I wasn't real impressed with the big pokes through the paper, but I really like the daisies. This is a good daisy print here. So there you have it. You asked to see the results after I posted my pictures yesterday of what I had been doing. And here are the results. I'm going to play with this. Usually I do the boiling technique with the papers and all the alum and the iron and everything to get really cool. Hold on, let me show you. Last week I did the boiling, the Echo Print boiling. And I got these prints. They're much different than these prints. They actually pull some of the color, the nature colors right out of the foliage. They're cool. So I'll just show you a few of those. This is a maple leaf. I'm not sure. I think that's a rose branch. And this is off my arborvitae tree. An oak branch leaf. These are some flowers that I picked from my flower bed. That one's real pretty with the oak leaves. So you can see you can stain up your papers. These were left in the water longer, so they got darker. The iron darkens them. Look at that print. Is that awesome or what? There we go. So these are what I did last week. I went looking. Here's some flowers here. Those, I'm not sure. They came from my garden. I can't remember just which ones they were. You need to document it, right? Yeah, to rip that one. Look at the pretty color on that one. I love this down through the center and then the lighter colors on here. There's a nice belly band for a journal. Some paper. So you can see all the different things you can do now that it's summertime and you can get out and you can gather up some foliage, get outside and enjoy nature and take a little basket with you and some scissors or nippers or whatever. And as long as you're not infringing on anybody else's property, of course. I have plenty of property here to go out and pick stuff. So anyhow, enjoy. I hope you enjoyed this video of watching and seeing the results of my coffee staining yesterday. So have a great day. We'll see you again soon. Bye now.